students, how are you all? I hope you all are doing great. I am Neha Rajvanshi and I welcome you all in today's class, that is English class of class 10th. So students, in the previous video we have started reading with our next topic from our grammar syllabus, that is models. So in the previous video we have seen all the different types of models that we are having. So we have seen that basically we are having 10 major models, or we can say 10 main models, and apart from this category we are also having 3 semi models, right? And some of the models we have discussed in the previous video. We have seen the uses of those models and we have seen some of the examples, and the rest of the models we will cover in today's video. So now let's continue our topic models and let's start our today's video. So the next model that now we are having is a should. Okay, so should, again it's a very common model. We all use this model should in our conversation. So let's see the different uses of a should, where this model should is commonly generally used. So let's see the uses, and now we are having the very first use of should. So let's see. Should is the past tense of a shall. It is used to denote indirect speech in the past tense of a shall. So this is the very first use of should. This is the very first important thing that you should be aware about this model, that is should. That should is the past form of a shall. Okay, so इससे पहले हमने shall और will ये भी हमने as a model हमने पढ़ा है. So the when we are using this model shall, so the past form of a shall is a should. When we will read this topic, that is direct or indirect speech, so there this thing you know ये हम डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे, तब इसको हम डिटेल में समझेंगे. But for right now, just listen this thing, just notice this thing, that should, this is the past form of shall and it is used when we are writing indirect speech. Okay, so जब हम indirect speech use करते हैं, then to write the past form of shall we always use a should, right? So let's see some of the example of this thing. The first example that we are having here is I said that I should go. So here in this sentence we are having said here. Said means past form because this is the second form of the verb. So here we are having past tense. So because we are having past tense here, so this is the reason we will use the past form, that is should, and the sentence will be I said that I should go. Similarly, we are having one more example here. In the example we are having he said that they should report for duty on Monday. Again in this sentence we are having said, that is the second form of the verb. So again we are having past tense, we are having past form here, and this is the reason we are writing past form, we are writing should, and the sentence that we are having here is he said that they should report for duty on Monday. So these both the examples that we are having here, they are the examples of indirect speech. So again I am repeating this thing, that we will continue this chapter, this topic in this when we will read indirect speech. So at that time we will study in very much detail all these things, but for right now just notice this thing, just observe this thing, that should, this is the past form of shall and it is used in indirect speech. Okay, let's see the second use of should. So where should it is used? It is used to express advice or advisability. So this is the second use of should, where it is used. It is used when we want to express, when we want to denote, when we want to convey some kind of advice. So let's see some of the examples. The first example is you should attend classes regularly. So here we are giving our advice to someone. We are giving the advice and we are saying that you should. Okay, so here we are having a feeling of advice, and this is the reason we are using should here. So we are giving some kind of advice, we are giving some kind of suggestion, we can say. So we are using should and we are saying that you should attend classes regularly. Okay, second example that we are having here is you should not laugh at his mistake. So here one thing is clear, that should, it can be used in a positive sentence and it can be used in negative sense also, because here again we are giving the advice, but here we are using a negative structure and we are saying that you should not laugh. Okay, someone is laughing and we are giving the advice that no, you should not do this, you should not laugh. So should, it is also used in positive sense. It is also used in negative sense to give the advice. And again, one more thing is clear here, that should is used for all the different kinds of subjects. It can be used for singulars, it can be used for plural subject also, right? So this is the second use of should, where should it is used to give the advice, and in this manner it can be used in positive sentence also and in the negative sentence also. Okay. Next we are having the third use of should. So let's see, to express moral obligation or duty. So this is the very important use of should, where it is used to express, to denote moral obligation or duty. So what is moral obligations? Moral duties means the duties that we all should follow, that we all should complete. So let's see some of the examples what it means actually. The first sentence is, one should love one's country. So it is our moral duty, it is our moral responsibility that we should love, we should care for our country, right? So this is the reason we are using should here in this sentence. Similarly, we are having here, we should not tell a lie. So again, this is something related with our moral duties, related with our moral responsibilities, that we should not tell a lie. So this is the reason we are using should here in the sentence. One more example we are having, children should obey their parents. So again, this is a moral duty, this is a moral responsibility. So we are using should here, and the sentence that we are having here is, children should obey their parents. So all these things are related with moral obligations, moral duty, or we can say moral responsibility, right? So all these things when we want to express, when we want to denote, then we always use should in the sentence. So this is the next use of should, where should it is used to show moral obligations, duties, or we can say moral responsibilities, something that we all should follow. Let's see the next use of should. So let's see, it is used to express purpose. So this is the next use of should, where it is used to express purpose, and in this manner we are having a very particular structure. So let's see the example and try to understand the structure of the sentence. So the sentence that we are having here is, she works hard lest she should fail. Second is, we took a taxi lest we should miss the train. So one common thing that we are having in both the sentence is that in both the sentence we are having this word, that is lest. Okay, so this is the structure. So when should it is used to show the purpose, so in such kind of sentences we always have lest. So this is the structure, that when we are having lest in the sentence, then obviously we have to use should in the sentence to show the purpose, to express the purpose. So let's read the sentence one more time to understand this thing. So first one is, she works hard, right? So we are talking about someone, we are talking about some of the girl who is working very hard, and next we are writing the purpose and why she is working hard, lest she should fail. So one more thing that I want to make it clear here, that here in the sentence we are not having not, right? But the meaning of the sentence will be in a negative form. So we are trying to say here that some girl is there who is working very hard. Why she is working very hard? So that she want to fail. So this is the meaning, but in the sentence we are having हमें not नहीं दिख रहा है, but when we use lest plus should, so this form of the sentence, so we can say this structure of the sentence is having a negative meaning. Clear? Similarly, the second sentence that we are having here is, we took a taxi, right? So we finally took a taxi. Why? What was the purpose for that? Lest we should miss the train. Again in the sentence there is no not, but the meaning of the sentence is a negative meaning. So the meaning of the sentence is that we took a taxi so that we want to miss the train, right? हम train miss ना कर दें. This was the reason we took a taxi. So yes, we are having no there is no use of not in the sentence, but when the structure is lest plus should, then the sentence is having a negative meaning. So yes, in this structure should is used to show purpose. And just be very careful, I am repeating this thing again, that in this structure always we are having this word lest before should, and the meaning of the sentence, it will be having a negative meaning. So yes, the purpose will be negative, or we can say उस चीज को अवॉइड करने के लिए फाइनली जो हमने स्टार्टिंग में लिखा है एक्शन वो किया गया, राइट. सो यस, पर्पस इज देयर बट द सेंटेंस इज हैविंग अ नेगेटिव मीनिंग. जस्ट लाइक इन बोथ द सेंटेंस वी आर नॉट एबल टू सी एनी नॉट, बट द सेंटेंस इज हैविंग अ नेगेटिव मीनिंग. देयर वाज सम गर्ल हु एक्चुअली शी वाज वर्किंग वेरी हार्ड बिकॉज वो बिल्कुल नहीं चाहती थी वो फेल हो जाए. सो फेल होने से बचने के लिए, just to avoid this thing, she was working very hard. Clear? Similarly, just to avoid this thing, just to avoid missing the train, we took a taxi. So this is the structure lest plus should. Okay, so this is the again another use of should, and we are having one more use of should. So let's see. So yes, should is used to give the instructions. How? Let's see the example. We are having the sentence that all students should deposit their fees soon. So this is a kind of instruction that is given by the some of the authority, like you can say some principal was there, some teachers who are responsible for this job who are there, and they are giving the instructions, and they are saying that all students should deposit their fees soon. So again, this is another use of should, where should it is used to express the instructions, it is used to give the instructions to anyone. Okay, so this is all about this model should. Again, it's a very easy model and it's a very common model जिसे हम generally we all use in our daily conversation. So the major uses of should, I am repeating one more time. It is used to, first of all, this is a past form of shall, right? That is used in indirect speech. Next, it is used to show moral obligations, moral duties, or we can say our responsibility. And it is also used to show the purpose, and in that structure it is used with less, right? It is very important, just be very careful. And yes, it is also used to give the instructions like this we are having here. Okay, so this is all about should. Now next, moving on, we are having our next model. So the next model that we are having here is would. Okay, so this is our next model, would. So let's see now the different uses of this model that we are having here is would. So let's see the very first use. Would is the past tense of will. Okay, so this is something common in would and should. Should, it was the past form of shall. Similarly, would, it is the past form of will, and it is used to make a polite request. Okay, so the first use that I want to make it clear here, that when we were using indirect speech, so in that form we were using should, right? Because should is the past tense of shall. Similarly, would is the past tense of will. So in indirect tenses, in indirect form, in indirect sentence, we will use would, because would is the past form of will. Second, it is used to make a polite request with the help of would. We can make sentences when we want to make a polite request. How? So let's see the example. The example that we are having here is, would you switch the light on? So here we are requesting someone, here we are making a very polite request, and we are asking someone to switch on the light. But in that manner, we just want to be very polite, we just want to be very humble. So this is the reason we are using this word would, and we are saying that would you please switch on the light. Clear? Polite way of taking permission, and this model would, it is also used to take permission. How? Let's see. Would you mind opening the door? Right? Again we are using would. Why? Because we just want to be very polite here. So this reason we are using would, and we are saying that would you mind opening the door? Okay. Next, we are having the second use of would. So let's see. It is used to express a past habit. So this model, that is would, it is also used to express someone's past habit. How? So let's see the examples. When his father was alive, he would bring sweets for children every day. So here we are talking about a past habit, because we are saying that when his father was alive, it means that as of now he is not there, he is is not alive, but when he was alive. So we are talking about that time when he was alive. So this is the past time, and we are talking about his past habit, and this is the reason we are using would here. And after would we are using first form of the verb, and we are saying that when his father was alive, he would bring sweets for children every day. Okay. Another example we are having here, he would go for a swim in the sea. So here again we are talking about someone's past habit, someone's routine that was there in the past time. So we are using would here, and we are saying that he would go for a swim in the sea. So this is the another use of would, when it is used to express, when it is used to denote someone's past habit. Next we are having another use of would. So let's see, it is used to express characteristic trait. Okay, so if we are talking about someone's characteristic trait, someone's characteristic, someone's speciality, someone's quality, then also we can use would. How? So let's see, he would eat fried things. So here we are talking about someone's characteristic traits. Okay, so in this manner we can use would, we can make a sentence with the help of would, and we can write that he would eat fried things. Okay. Another use of would that we are having here is to express a wish. Okay, so it is also used in this manner also when we want to express a wish. How? So let's see the example. Would that I were a king, would that I were rich. So here we are having a wish. Okay, we are saying that would that I were a king. So here we are expressing our wish that we just want to be a king. So this manner we can use would, and yes, this will be the structure. The sentence will begin with would, and at the end again just observe here that we are having exclamatory mark. Okay, so this will be the structure of the sentence. When would, it will be there in the beginning of the sentence, and after would we have to use that, would that, and after that we have to write the wish that we want to have, that we want to come true. Okay, so this is the structure, and we are saying that would that I were a king. Next example we are saying would that I were rich. So here again we want to have a wish that we are talking about this thing कि काश ऐसा होता. Okay, so we are having this wish in our mind, in our heart. So again we are having would in the beginning of the sentence, we are having this structure would that, and after that we are having the wish, and at the end of the sentence we are having again exclamatory mark. Okay, so this is the very particular structure when would it is used to express someone's wish. So this is the structure would that. After this we can write the wish, and at the end of the sentence we have to write exclamatory mark. Right. Next, see the next use of would that we are having here. So next use is to express a preference. So yes, this is another use of would, and in this manner would is used to express a preference. So what preference means? Preference means we can say our priority. It means if we are choosing something over another thing, so that is our priority, that is our preference. Suppose we are having two options, right, and we are choosing one option over another option, so that is known our preference, that is known our priority. And to express our priority, our preference, we can use would. How? So let's see the example. We are having the sentence I would rather die than beg. So here we are having our preference, our priority, and we are saying that I would rather die than beg. So we are having these two options. The first option is to die, second option is to beg, and we are choosing this one, that we would we would like to do this thing than this thing. So this structure shows our preference, our priority, and in this manner this is the structure. Always would is used with rather. Okay, rather, it will always come with would. I would rather, then we will choose our option, then we will write our priority, and then this word then it will be there, and after that the second option will be there, and this is the very particular structure that we have to use when we are using would to show the preference, to show show the priority. In such sentences, would will always come with rather, okay, and then we have to choose, write the option that we are choosing, actually we have to use then, and that we have to write the option, you know, जिसको हम छोड़ रहे हैं, जो हम choose नहीं कर रहे हैं. So this is the structure, and in this structure we can use would just to express, just to denote, just to show our preference, our priority. Okay, so I can write one more example here, you know, to help you to learn, to understand this thing, to learn this thing. So just write one more example. I am writing I would rather. Now let's see, I would rather take coffee than tea. So again I am having the preference, I am having the priority, and I am choosing coffee over tea, right? So I am having the, you know, these two options to have coffee and to have tea. I am choosing this option. I am you know, showing my priority, my preference, and I am making the sentence with the help of would, and the structure is the same. Again I am saying that I would rather take coffee than tea, right? So in this manner would, it is used to show the preference, and just remember the structure. Always rather will be there with would, and we have to use this word then. Clear? Another use of would that we are having here is, it is used to express improbable or unreal conditions. So this is the another use of would, where would, it is used in conditional sentences, and if in the sentence we are having improbable condition, or we can say unreal condition, so in that manner we can use would. How? So let's see some of the examples that we are having here. Sentences: if I won a lottery prize, I would build a theater. So here we are talking about very unreal condition, right? So we are just imagining this thing, and we are showing our imagination, and we are writing this thing that if I won a lottery, and in the second, that is result clause, we are using would, and we are writing that I would build a theater. So again we are having one condition clause, we are having, you know, result clause, and in the result clause we are using would plus first form. Okay, another example we are having here is, if I were a cosmonaut, I would take you to the moon. Again this is our imagination, right? This you know, condition is based on imagination only, and this is the reason this is very unreal condition, or we can say this is improbable condition. So we are having our condition clause first, that is if I were a cosmonaut. So and in the result clause we are having again would plus first form, and we are writing that I would take you to the moon. Okay, so this is the structure of the conditional sentence, when would, it is used, and the condition, it must be improbable, or we can say unreal condition. Okay, so these are the uses of would as a model. So first of all I just want to repeat this thing, that would is the past form of will, just like shall, you know, किसका जो past form होता है वो क्या होता है, should. Similarly the past form of will is would, and this past form is used, you know, in indirect speech. It is again another topic that we will discuss further, and as a model would, it is also used for, you know, to show polite request, to show polite permission, and it is also used in this manner, you know, in conditional sentences. It is used to show the preference, the priority, right? So these are the basic uses of this model would, right? Now next, moving on, we are having another model, our new model, that is ought to. So this is another model. The name of the model is ought to. So here we are having these two words, okay, ought to. So now let's see the different uses of this model ought to, where this is you know, generally used. So let's see. Ought to refers to present, past or future tenses. So one important thing about ought to, it is that it is used in all the tenses. It can be used in present tense, it can be used in past tense, and it can be used in future tenses also. Okay, and let's see the uses. So ought to is used. So let's see the very first use of ought to. It is used to denote the sense of moral duty and moral obligations and ethical values. So this is the thing that we have have discussed earlier also when we were reading should, right? Because in should also we have seen this usage, that should, it was used to show moral duty, to show moral responsibility, or we can say our obligations. Similarly, this model, that is ought to, it is also used in the same sense when we want to express, when we want to convey moral duty, moral obligations, or we can say ethical values. So let's see some of the examples. We are having, we ought to love our neighbors, or we can write we ought to love our country. So again, this is the just same use when we were using should. So in the same manner, ought to, it can also be used, okay, to show moral obligations, to show moral duties. So we can write that we ought to love our neighbors, we ought to love our country. Second is, all ought to keep their character. Again, we are talking about ethical value, or we can say moral obligations, that everyone, or we can say all, ought to keep their character. So in this manner, ought to, it is used, it is the very first use of ought to, where it is used to show moral duty, moral obligations, or we can say ethical values. Next, another use of ought to is, it is used to express assumption, or we can say probability. So if we are assuming something, if we are showing the probability, so in that manner ought to, it can be used. How? So let's see the examples. We are having here, he ought to be a sincere boy. So here we are talking about someone, we are talking about one boy here, and we are assuming this thing, this is our assumption, that that boy, he ought to be a sincere boy, right? We are observing his manners, we are observing him, and after that observation, we are assuming this thing, that he ought to be a sincere boy. Again, another example we are having, this ought to be Mohan's car, right? So again, we are assuming this thing, there is one car in front of us, and we are assuming this thing, that it ought to be Mohan's car. So in this manner, we are showing, when we are showing the assumption, when we are assuming something, or when we are showing the probability, then this model, that is ought to, it is used. Another use of ought to is, ought to have with a past participle is used to indicate a past obligation that was not fulfilled. So again, this is a structure when we have to use ought to have, right? And it is used with a past participle. Why? To indicate a past obligation that was not fulfilled, right? It was a past obligation, but this obligation was not fulfilled. In that manner, we have to use ought to have. So let's see the example. Example is, he ought to have been more careful, right? So here we are talking about this past obligation, and we are talking about someone who was not careful. So we are saying that he ought to have been more careful, but he was not. Again, we are having another example. He ought to have worked hard, but actually he did not work hard. So now we are saying that he ought to have worked hard, right? So what you understand here, the point that we have to understand here is that ought to have, this is a structure, and it is used to show some of the past obligation that was not fulfilled, right? And now in present, we are talking about that thing that was not fulfilled in the past. So here we are talking about someone who was not careful, and now we are saying that he ought to have been careful. Similarly, here we are talking about someone who did not work hard actually, and now in present time we are saying that he ought to have worked hard. So just look at the structure, just to be very careful regarding the structure of the sentence. We have to use ought to have with past participle, right? Another example, or we can say another use of ought to that we are having is, it expresses a strong possibility like must. So this is the another use of ought to, where it is sometimes it is used to show a strong possibility just like must. Must is another model that we will read further. So just like must, ought to is also used sometimes to show strong possibility. Like example we are having, it ought to be in your bag. bag. So here we are showing the possibility, right, or we can say strong possibility, and we are using ought to here. So this is the another use of ought to. This is all about ought to. This is a model जो कि ज़्यादा जनरली यूज़ में नहीं आता है, इसको ज़्यादा कॉमनली हम यूज़ नहीं करते हैं, बिकॉज टू शो मॉरल ड्यूटीज, मॉरल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज, जनरली वी यूज शुड, बट यू हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल regarding the uses of ought to, because yes, this is included in model. Generally it is not used in conversation, but yes, जो आपके एग्जाम में सेंटेंस आते हैं उनमें आपको ought to भी यूज करना है. So yes, you have to learn all the uses that are related with this model, that is ought to, right? Moving on further, we are having our next model, that is must. So now we will study about our next model, that is must. So let's see what is must, where it is used. Must refers to the present and the future tenses. So first of all, the important thing that we have to be careful about is that must, it is associated with the present time, present tense and the future tenses. Okay, इसको हम past tense में use नहीं करते हैं, it is used in present and future. And now let's see the different uses of must. So yes, must, it is used first of all to denote compulsion, obligation, or we can say necessity. So when we are talking about something that is very necessary thing, that is we can say compulsory thing, or that is like obligation, then we have to use this model, that is must. How? So see the example. We are writing that a servant must obey his master. So here we are showing servant's obligation. We are showing something that is compulsory for a servant, and this is the reason we are using must here, and we are writing that a servant must obey his master. Next we are having I must go there, and this is the sentence that shows obligation in the present. So if we are writing this thing that I must go there, it means I have to go there. There is no other option that I am having, no matter what, but I have to go there. So with the help of must, we show compulsion, we show obligation, or we can say we show necessity, right? So this is the very first use of must. Clear? Another use of must is it is used to denote certainty or very strong belief, or we can say inevitability. Okay, so again if we want to show something very strong belief, something that is totally inevitable, something that is very certainly to happen, then also we use must. So let's see the examples that we are having. We must die sooner or later. We must all die. So this is something that is totally inevitable, because no one is having any control on this thing, because death is a compulsion for all, right? And yes, we must die sooner or later. We must all die. So this is something जिस पे किसी का भी कोई कंट्रोल नहीं है, कोई भी इस चीज से एस्केप नहीं कर सकता, कोई भी इस चीज को अवॉइड नहीं कर सकता. So yes, this is something that is totally inevitable, and this is the reason we are using must here. Another example is everyone must grow old and perish. Again this is something this thing that is inevitable, because aging जो है वो सबके साथ होती है, जो ये process है सबके साथ होती है, and this is the reason we are using must here, because no one is able to escape, no one is able to avoid this thing, and everyone must grow old and perish, right? Next use of must, it is used to denote determination. So let's see how. I must see you again. Okay, so with the help of must, when we use must in a sentence, so it shows our determination level, because we have read earlier that it shows compulsion. So similarly when we use must, so it also shows our determination. So if we are writing that I must have my money back, so here we are showing our determination. We are showing this thing that this thing is inevitable, you have to do this thing. When I am saying that I must have my money back, similarly we can write I must have my say in this matter, I must surrender myself to her whims. Okay, so in this manner must, it is used to show our determination level. Another use of must is it is used to express duty or a very strong obligation. How? Let's see. We are having the example, we must practice virtue. So the same sentence we can write using should, or we can say using ought to, but that is not having the strong feeling. But if we are writing that sentence and we are using must, so with that sentence we are expressing very strong, very strong obligation, we are showing very strong belief. Similarly, we are having that we must obey the laws of our country. So here we are showing this thing that it is something that is necessary for us, it is something that is compulsory for us, that we all must obey the laws of our country, right? And yes, we can write the similar sentence using should or ought to, but in that manner we won't have the obligation, we won't have the compulsion, we are just giving the advice. But if we want to show the compulsion, if we want to show the obligation, or we can say if we want to show the strong belief, then we have to use this model, that is must. Clear? Another use, next use. So yes, must, it is used to show a strong order, or we can say command. Let's see how. You must come on time. So here we are not giving the advice, this is not the advice, this is not the suggestion, but this is very strong order, this is very strong command. If we are saying someone that you must come on time, so it means that if he won't come on time, then he he has to face the result, because we are saying this thing using must, so it shows again compulsion, it shows very strong order, right? So with the help of must we can use, we can show strong order, strong command, like in this manner. So here if we are using must here, so it means that person is having no other option, he has to come on time, right? Next use of must, yes, it is used to show strong possibility. Let's see the examples. So we are having three models here. We are having the same sentence, and in these three sentences we are using three different models, and with the help of these three models we can show three different moods, we can show three different feelings. How? So let's see. If we are using must, next we are using may, next we are using might, so we can say the mood of the sentence, it changes. So let's see. If we are using must and we are writing the sentence, it must rain today, so this is a strong possibility. If we are using may and we are writing it may rain today, so this is possibility. And if we are using might and the sentence is it might rain today, so this is a remote possibility. So students, I hope that you all are able to recall that in the previous video we have seen the comparison between may and might, right? I have written a sentence using may, and the same sentence I wrote using might, and I showed you this thing that what is the difference between may and might. And now we are having another model, must. So now let's see the difference between these three models. The same sentence we are having here, but if we are using must, so with the help of must we are showing very strong possibility. If we are using may, then yes, this is a possibility, but it is not that strong, that is must. And if we are writing might, then this is a very remote possibility, it is a very lesser possibility, right? So this is the difference between these three models, that is must, may and might. Might is very less possibility, may is stronger than might, and must is the strongest possibility. Clear? Another use of must is that yes, it is used to show deduction, or we can say inference. So what deduction means? Deduction means if after so many observation, if we are on conclusion, so that means deduction. So let's see the example to understand this thing. Example is he has 2 cars, he must be rich. So here we are having this observation, we are talking about someone and we are saying that he is having 2 cars. So after this observation, our conclusion is that he must be rich. Okay, so this is the example of deduction, and we are using must here. Similarly, we are having another sentence, he has answered all the questions, he must be intelligent. So this is our observation that he has answered all the questions, and after this we are on this conclusion that he must be intelligent. Okay, so if we are having some fact and after those facts we are are on some conclusion. So this is known as deduction, and to show deduction we use must. Like in these sentences we are having must to show deduction, to show our conclusion point. Okay. One more example we are having of this model, that is must. So let's read. Must plus not, it shows prohibition, or we can say have no right to. Okay, so this is the structure when we are having must plus not. So let's see. You must not smoke at public places. It means you are prohibited to do this thing. You cannot smoke at public places. And if we are using must, so again it is showing a strong feeling, it is showing a strong prohibition that yes, you are not at all prohibited to do this thing, to smoke at public places. Similarly, if we are writing that no one must leave the classroom without my permission, so again we are refusing this thing, we are denying this thing, and that too in a very strong manner, and we are saying that no one must leave the classroom. It means that no matter what, but no one is allowed to leave the classroom. Okay, so in this manner must not, it is used to show very strong prohibition, to show something that is totally denied, no one is allowed to do. Okay, so this is all about this model, that is must. Yes, it is also very important model, and the major uses we have discussed. The most important use of must is that it shows very strong obligation, it shows compulsion, it shows very strong necessity of something, and in the same manner it is used to show strong determination, strong possibility, strong order, strong command. So with the help of must, we just want to show something that is totally inevitable, something that is very necessary, very compulsory, right? Moving on, we are having our next model. So students, till now we have discussed 10 models that are into this category, that is known as the major models, right? जो हमारे major models है, main models है, वो 10 models है that we have already discussed. Now we are having 3 models, and these 3 models are called semi models. So in this category we are having the first model, that is used to. Okay, so this is a very common model actually, used to, and we all use this model, right? So let's see what is the use of used to. So yes, used to, it is used to show past habit, right? So this is a very common model actually, and we all use it to show someone's past habit or our past habit also. So let's see the example. He used to walk in the morning. So here used to, it shows the past tense, right? Because used to means past form, second form. So it is used in this manner when we are talking about someone's past habit. So we are writing that he used to walk in the morning. In the past time he was having this habit that he used to go to walk in the morning. Similarly, we are having this sentence that Gandhi ji used to spend in the afternoon. So yes, in this sentence also we are showing Gandhi ji's past habit, the thing that he used to do daily, and we are saying that he used to spend in the morning. So yes, used to, it is called semi model, and the use of this model is that it is used to show someone's past habit, like we are having the examples. Okay, next model, or we can say next is semi model that we are having, it is known as need not. So let's see. Need not is a negative word, so we are having not with this word need. So we all know that it's a negative word, it's a negative meaning, and it is used to show lack of necessity, or we can say obligation. So इससे पहले हमने अभी must model पढ़ा था, and in that model we have seen that must was used to show the necessity, obligation, and if we are showing lack of necessity, if we are showing lack of compulsion, lack of obligation, then we use this word, that is need not. So let's see the example. He need not buy a motorcycle. So here we are saying this thing that there is no necessary that he is buying a motorcycle, because actually he need not. So here we are showing lack of necessity, lack of obligation. Another example is I need not have done it. Similarly, we are using need not, and with this we are showing lack of compulsion, lack of obligation, lack of necessity. Okay, so need not, it's a negative, it's a model that is used in negative meaning, negative form, and yes, it shows lack of necessity, lack of obligation, or we can say lack of compulsion. Next, or we can say the last model that we are having with us is a dare. So let's see, dare. Dare is used to show that someone is courageous enough to do something, right? Again, it's a very common model that we all use. You know, एक common phrases हम सब बोलते हैं like how dare you, right? So this is the same dare that we are having as a model. So this model is used to show that someone is courageous enough, right? हम कहते हैं ना how dare you. So if we are talking about someone and we are saying that he is courageous enough to do something, then we use dare as a model. Let's see some of the example. Like we are having that he dared to call me a fool. So here we are talking about someone who is courageous enough that he called me a fool. So here we are saying that he dared, right? Similarly, we are saying that you dared not touch this wire. So this is something very dangerous. It's some dangerous wires there. So we are saying that you dare not to, don't to be courageous enough, you know, to touch this wire because this is very dangerous. Again, we are having example. Dare he say this word to my face. So here one thing is very obvious that dare, it is used in interrogative sentence also, it is used in negative sentence also, and yes, it is used in positive sentence also. Yes, जितने भी different patterns होते हैं, it can be used in all the patterns, but the only use of this model is that it shows someone's courageous nature, that he is courageous enough to do something, and to show this thing we can use dare, and it can be used with all the subjects, with all the person, and yes, in all the different pattern of these sentences. Clear? So this is all about dare, and we have completed our models. We have discussed all the different models in very much details. We have seen the different uses, and we have seen so many examples. So students, just you know, look the video again and again and practice very hard. Try to understand all the different uses of all the models, and in the next video we will do the exercises. So first of all, you know, in दोनों videos को आपको बहुत अच्छे से देखना है, सारे मॉडल्स के यूजेस आपको लर्न ऑन करने हैं, देन ओनली यू नो यू विल बी एबल टू डू द प्रैक्टिस एक्सरसाइजेस. सो जस्ट बी विथ मी एंड सी यू इन द नेक्स्ट वीडियो. थैंक यू.